and then we'll have our first speaker speak to us. So now, Rise Impact Foundation is a foundation that entails the youth. What we do is that we bring up the youth together. Specifically, we have undergraduates. If you're an undergraduate, you are qualified. If you're a graduate, you are qualified. If you are fresh SHS leaver, you are qualified. What we are doing is that we believe that among ourselves as youth, we have what it takes to also make impact in our own way. There were instances where I had encounter with people in a town called Faumaye, where they were able to tell me things that they cannot tell their parents. So imagine me knowing all those things, right? And I have the chance to turn things around for their life to be better. And it means I have a part to play in their life. So specifically, I believe that each and every one of us as youth have a way we can turn things around in our various communities. What we are doing is that we are targeting under-reserved areas, under-reserved communities. Under-reserved in the sense that you can put it rural areas or what have you. We go to those places, we look at the youth, we look at the menace over there, we look at the problems over there, and then we find ways and means to resolve. We as youth has a part to play as far as the development of our country or our community or society is concerned. Therefore, we have come together with great minds. We believe that we have what it takes. We have every potential in us because we've been to school. I did biochemistry. Somebody else did finance. Somebody else did whatever, animal biology or what have you. We bring these ideologies together. Then we go out there, the critical thinking that we did, the academic writing that we did, all those things, we bring them together. We go out there, we impact onto our country, impact onto the community, we impact onto the targeted sites positively. We are ready. We have the passion. We have what it takes. We have the knowledge. We have the wisdom. And there are so many people out there who are willing to come on board to support us. We just need to avail ourselves. This is not about our own thinking. This is not about our own money or whatsoever. We are here to impact. We don't need money. We don't need to be paid to make impact. No, you don't need to look at what you're going to get before you go out there to make impact. Depends on your heart, ready to make impact. So these are the impacts we are talking about. The first section of our impact making will target academics because we are students or we are academically inclined people. The second section will be with innovative and skills programs, mentorship programs, and inspiring programs that are going to organize in the various sectors to empower them, to equip them, to help them, to talk to them, to have influence over them. If they need be that we go onto one place with donations and other things, we solicit for donations, we go out there, and then we impact our world positively. So the general overview of the NGO is it. If you have any questions or any contribution whatsoever, we have our platforms active, or our media channels active, or our numbers active. You come on board, you bring your ideas, you think about it, we dojo, and we see how best we can input that to make it better. So this is the basic on which the NGO is from. Each and everyone here knows the basic through which the NGO was formed and is willing and ready to contribute positively to this foundation we have made. Thank you very much for joining Rising Impact. We are aware that we are live on our YouTube channels and Facebook as well. So you can tune in and join us live on YouTube, Rising Impact Foundation, same as Facebook. All our social media handles are active and you can follow us on all our social media. Thank you. Now, to our first speaker, I believe, Prof, I call him Prof. It's my name, Prof. Amoah. He has been very, very, very instrumental as far as my life is concerned. Way back University of Ghana campus, I was part of an association that he was our patron, Financial Awareness Association, that's the FA. It's an international organization, and he has been very, very impactful. In fact, when it comes to my financial life and financial literacy and everything, he's been very, very impactful to me, and I saw the need to bring him on board. He's been doing a lot of things. He doesn't take money, he doesn't do anything. Like he's just willing to come on board and help. So he's here. Doc, please, you have the floor for presentation. Thank you, Doc. I'm honored to introduce you.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, and thank you, your team, for the invitation that you extended to me. It's a privilege to at least to be part of today's presentation and also to share a few thoughts of mine on the subject matter of youth empowerment. So my name is Benjamin Amoah, just as Benjamin also said, it's my namesake. I work as a senior lecturer at the Department of Finance, University of Ghana Business School. And rightly, like Benjamin said, Benjamin was part of us when he was in school, and he was an executive of the FA Association, the International Financial Awareness and Financial Literacy Association, where what we do is just about financial empowerment and financial literacy. That is, we try as much as possible to expose members of the association and by extension, the university community to issues about finance and how to build their financial life. And he was very instrumental. He helped us as an executive. And so when he reached out to me that he has a foundation and he wanted me to come on board to speak, I didn't hesitate because one, I've worked with him before, and then two, what he was doing, I saw it as something good that could benefit the society. So it is just part of the relationship we established way back in school. And I'm here to share a few thoughts of mine on the subject matter of goal setting, and financial freedom. So I'll share some few thoughts because I think goal setting is very important. And of course, in as much as you are setting your goals, you should also set goals that will financially liberate you and not restrict you in what you seek to do and what you want to do for yourself, your community, and then your families as well. So, Ben, thank you very much. And the executives of your foundation, to thank you very much for extending the invitation to me. I've prepared a short slide. If you don't mind, I'll try to share the short slide with you, and that will guide my presentation. I would like to know, how many minutes do I have?
Please, you have 15 minutes.
50 minutes, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
50 minutes. I mean, it has to be high speed, high pace presentation. Don't worry, but I'll encourage you to write whatever you think is useful to you, to write it down, and then whatever you think also catches your eye, just write it down. I will make the slides available to Benjamin, and I guess Benjamin will share the slide with you after the presentation. So follow the presentation. If you have any question, you can jot it down. If I'm done and there is time for question and answers, I will also try my best to respond to the questions that you have. So what I'm doing here is simple. It's to motivate you by looking at how you can design your future, because there's nothing like a future by chance. The future you have is an indirect review, an indirect presentation of how you have led your life in the past. So if today you are well positioned, it is not by chance. It is based on something that you did. And so if only we can vision ourselves into the future, then we stand a good chance of taking some decisions today that will help us to land into that future that we all anticipate will help us in the past. Sorry, in the future. Okay. Now, I'll look at goal setting. Very important, because we are talking about designing your future. And I'll look at it within the context of financial freedom. Okay. So, what is a goal? What is a goal? And what do we mean by financial freedom? What is a goal and what do we mean by financial freedom? And how can you link goal setting to financial freedom? Okay. This is about me. When you get a slide, you can just have read up about me, the slide. Okay, what I will do is one, I will help to, bring you up to speed in terms of attempting to change your mindset from being a passive spender when it comes to money to how you can actively build your financial future, right? So I'll motivate you because 20 minutes or 50 minutes is not enough time for me to help you go through a workshop session and give you the needed tools for you to be able to build that future. So I will try to motivate you, create awareness about the need for you to move from being a passive spender into active builder of wealth. Two, I will also equip you with practical framework for setting what we call SMART goals. Smart financial goals. Smart financial goals, I will do that. SMART basically means that it should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound personal financial goals. I will also clarify what we mean by financial freedom and then try to articulate its personal importance, right? By demystifying and making the concept of financial freedom clear to you so that it becomes tangible. And once it becomes tangible, it will then serve as a target that you strive to achieve as far as financial freedom is concerned. Finally, I'll provide what I call actionable strategies that will help you to begin your financial journey. So at the end of the day, you are like, okay, fine, I sat into that particular presentation or seminar, but I don't know how to begin. At least I will give you some pointers or some action points that you can use as the first step of walking into financial freedom by basically walking you through what we call tracking expenses, basic budgeting, and how to initiate a savings habit, assuming that you are not saving. Two, how to motivate and encourage you to keep saving if you're already saving. And then how to also add more to your savings if what you are saving is not enough. So this is what I seek to do within the next 15 or 10 minutes that I have. Okay, so who is a youth? Who is a youth? There are different definitions for who the youth is. It depends on the environment you find yourself. It also depends on the regime that you get yourself into. In other words, for the United Nations definition, a youth is any individual between the ages of 15 to 24. That's according to the UN. Now, if you come to Africa, especially Ghana, we then try to expand the age bracket from 15 to 35. In fact, there are some organizations even in Ghana that sees individuals who are up to the age of 40 still as being part of the youth bracket. In other words, the boundary, especially the upper ceiling as to who a youth is, tend to change from one particular location to the other. And I believe that for a majority of you on this call, you are likely to fall between the band of, let's say, 15 to about 34. And so you are a youth. One thing you need to understand about this age bracket is that within this age bracket of even up to 40 is that period of time in your life where you have that massive potential in terms of energy, in terms of network, in terms of you being able to overwork yourself to achieve your goal, in terms of national discussion, in terms of supporting when it comes to national agenda, you really need a youth. And so that age bracket you find yourself in is an important age bracket where responsibilities are now coming, but they're not full-fledged. That same age bracket as a youth is a time that you have to commit to learning and growth. This is a time that you can afford to take some risk. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, at least it gives you the opportunity to learn from experience. I'm not saying go out and take what I'll call useless risk, but at least it's a learning period because responsibilities at this time is few. Financial burden on you at this time is few. So the question then is, what are you using the time and the resources that you have for? This is a time that you can commit to learning and you can grow yourself. Again, within this same bracket is a time for you to form what you call lifelong habits. lifelong habits. If it's about sports, if it's about community engagement, if it's about spirituality, if it's about work ethics, this is the time that you have to do that. So that becomes part and parcel of you. It is within the youth bracket that you can do that. Finally, when it comes to critical lifelong decisions, what we call major lifelong decisions, lifelong impactful decisions like education, career, finances, family life, you can use this time of your life to reposition yourself or to position yourself to take serious educational decision, career path decision, and then also set your finances on the right path. So the period of being a youth is one of the greatest period that you can have in your lifetime. This is your greatest advantage because as a youth at this point in time, you have time on your side. In Ghana, we retire at age 60. So as you age up, the time that you have is limited. If you are spiritual, the Bible says what? It is 70 years, then plus addition. I'm not saying you are going to die at 70, but then that is what we have been told. But if you read again, it is more than 70 years. So if you are using that cap at 70, then it means that this is that period of time that you can build yourself because time is on your side and you can correct many of the mistakes that our forebears, our parents, our fathers, our community leaders, and our national leaders have committed. You can correct them at this point in time in your life. So being a youth is a great time, and no wonder the Rise Impact, Rise Impact, is it Wise or Rise? Forgive me. Rise Impact Foundation is seeking to help you. Let's look at something. I've spoken about Ghana, but then we need to look at what is happening on the continent of Africa. Trust me, in Africa, over 60% of the population is under the age of 25. If you compare Africa to Europe, South America, North America, where we have America and Canada, you go to Asia, you go to the Australian or the Oceania region. Africa happens to be the continent with the youngest population. 60% of Africans are below the age of 25. So just watch it. In the next 25 years, this cohort will then be about 50. Plus another 25, this cohort will then be about what? 75. That is such a long span of lifetime for Africa, and for that matter, the youth of Africa to take hold of development on the continent in the world, to change the world order for the benefit, not only for Africans, but for all other individuals on the other continent. So it is good that as Africans, we take advantage of the youthful population that we have to change the narrative for the positive. In Ghana, it is believed that 57% of our population is under 25, according to the Ghana Statistical Service. 57. So you can see that the 57 and the 60 here is in sync if you compare to the Africa average. Nigeria has a similar demographic structure where there's a huge youth population in Nigeria. But then what they are doing is that they are succeeding in pushing the Nigerian youth into technology and technology innovations to solve some of the societal problems that we have. I believe in Ghana we can do same. And so you need to be thinking about what you can do and what you can do for yourself, your community, and for the country. Globally too, the youth is seen as that huge potential cohort of individuals who can provide huge demographic dividend when it comes to economic boom, if only the potential of the youth can be harnessed correctly, not negatively, can be directed for the youth to put in their effort into personal life reconstruction, family life reconstruction, community life reconstruction, and by extension, national life reconstruction. That is, if there are some things that are going wrong in our society, it is up to the youth to correct. And so you need to be thinking about it. No. And you need to know that the challenge now for us or the youth is that harnessing this potential that I've talked about requires intention. Intention means what? Purposefulness. Intention means goal setting. Intention means being deliberate. So intention is very important. In addition to intention, we are talking about the skills. You need to acquire relevant skills. Relevant skills that can be used to solve problems. Intention, relevant skills, and of course, this intention and skill should be directed. Directed at what? Personal problem solving, family life problem solving, community-based, and then national problem solving. If only we can do this, if only we can retool and rethink this process, then we stand a better chance of creating a society that will benefit even our parents in their old age. So it's very important we rethink some of these things. And that is where you come in as a youth. That is where you come in as a youth, and you need to be thinking about this as you have various interactions in schools, back in your communities, maybe at the workplace, if you're already working, or if you are on a national service. So what is goal? And what is goal setting? What is a goal and what is goal setting? You know, in life, you must always have something that drives you. You can't just get up and say, today I have nowhere going. So please, I have nowhere going. Take me to nowhere. No. You must have an intent in mind and a visual impression of what that intent is in relation to time. And that becomes a goal. So a goal is a dream with a deadline. What is a dream? A dream here means that you are not there yet, but you can imagine yourself there. You can imagine yourself achieving it. You can imagine yourself changing that situation. You can imagine yourself being part of the solution. But it shouldn't just be the imagination, but it must be time-bound. Time-bound might say that by the end of the year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, I should be able to transition from this state of mind to an improved state. So that becomes a goal. And according to Napoleon Hill, a goal is a dream with a deadline. There is an African proverb. It says that word, a cat that dreams of becoming a lion must lose its appetite for rats. A cat that dreams of becoming a lion, you must first lose its appetite for what? Rat. So in other words, once you dream, once you envision yourself in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, that dream or vision you have about yourself, which is the goal, should cause you to change some of the things you are doing now. Because if you are not able to change your situation now, in line with the goal that you have set for yourself, you will never be able to achieve it. So it's very important that goal setting must come with behavioral change. If that behavioral change will demand skills acquisition, as a young person, you must invest in that. Goal setting is a process of identifying something you want to achieve. Vision, you want to achieve too. It's about establishing specific, measurable, time-bound objective. Not just that, it's about committing yourself intentional. We used the word intentional in the previous slide. It's about committing to a plan of action to make it happen. So many of us have attempted to set goals for ourselves, but we are not even committing ourselves. We don't even have identified plan of actions that will whip up into line to make this goal come to pass. It's very, very important that when you set a goal, you have a plan of action. Not just a plan, but you commit to it. It is about turning your vision into reality. Without a goal, you are a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the current takes you. So those of you who don't have goals, no wonder when your friends come and say, let's try this, you quickly run and follow them. When you hear another person saying this, you quickly do it. When somebody says this, you are following, because you have not been able to sit down to define what is important to you in life, what you seek to achieve in life, not to think about even committing to it. So any wave that blows, it blows you. Individuals who have goals, individuals who are committed to their goals are not easily pushed off the path that they take. I want you to think about goals. I want you to be writing down your goals, and I want you to have plans so they can stay put to your goals. So this is what basically goal setting is. Because of time, I'll quickly rush through. Now, why set goals, especially financial goals? And here, because I'm talking about finance and I'm a finance person inclined, I'm restricting my goals to financial goals. Now, if you're able to set your financial goals, it brings clarity and focus. You know what you are working towards, and you wake up with a purpose. That goal gives you what you call a reason for what you are doing. It wakes you up a purpose, and once you have that purpose, you are forced to drive yourself to achieve that purpose. Again, financial goals motivate. It gives you a reason to keep going when things get tough. You know why? Because you have a goal ahead. You have something in mind. So when the road becomes tough, you cannot afford to miss the mark. Many of us give up simply because we do not have what? Goals. So goals motivate. Goals helps us to measure the progress that we have what? Achieved. In the measuring of the progress, we are also able to identify what we call the variances or the drift that may have come our way, and then we correct our path. So it helps us to measure progress. You can track your goal, or you can track how far you have come when it comes to your life. A life without a goal has no standard of measure. You think you have all the time to yourself. It is simply because you have no goal. But if you're able to set yourself goals, you realize that each and every day, each and every week or month is important. So you have to commit yourself to it. So you need to measure, it helps to measure progress. And then, of course, goals helps us make better decisions. It helps you say no to distractions, such as impulse buying. It helps you to say yes to opportunities that align to your goal, because you have the goal. And so if you are presented with issues of life, be it bad or negative, that can help you, that can cause you to drift from that objective, you say no to it. And then you begin to align yourself to go opportunities that will help you, or that will catapult you to the achievement of your goals. Goal setting is very, very important. That is why back in school, you remember, there were some guys that you came across who right from day one were very purposeful in life, because they identified their goals, they identified their visions. That is why there were some ladies back in school who identified their goals and purpose. Said, I am going to go for a first class. I'm going to get minimum second upper. And so they committed themselves to lectures. They committed themselves to go to the library. They committed themselves to buy books. And they were not distracted. Those who had passes, just pass or third class, you could also see how loose their life were. Goal setting helps us to make better decisions. And then finally, goal setting, especially the financial goals, helps us from moving away from being spenders, where we just spend, to now to become a builder of your life, a builder of a community, and a builder of a society. Because as far as we are concerned, every CD of money is important. And you tend to channel that CD of money that comes into your hand into something good that will support your goal. So these are why we set goals. They are more than this, but I'm just restricting myself to these reasons. And then more so, like I said earlier, because I'm finance biased, I have twisted the discussion into the world of finance. But trust me, these reasons are equally important in any aspect of your life. When it comes to your spirituality, it's very important. When it comes to your family life, it's very important. When it comes to your work life, goals are also very, very important. So you need to also think about it. Now, what are the types of goals? We can put goals into three categories. We have what we call short-term goals, mid-term, and long-term goals. Short-term goals are the objectives that we set for ourselves that have lifespan of maximum 1 year. So within the next 1 year, what do I want to achieve? Where do I want to be? That is a short-term goal. Think about it. And you must have it. We will not have time. If not, and if we had an in-person session, I will have forced you to write down what you want to achieve in the next 1 year. Although we are having an online session, I will still encourage you that take a pen or paper and write down next year by this time, by September 2026. This is what I want to achieve. It can be 1 or 2 or 3. Don't write a lot. Which are important to you, write it down. That is a short-term goal. Then we have a mid-term goal, which is between 1 to 3 years, 1 to 3. Some books say 1 to 3, some say 1 to 5. That will help you to accomplish such a goal. And they normally come in between what you call short-term and the long-term goal. I'll give some examples as I go on. And then we have the long-term goals. These are financial goals that may take 5 or longer years to accomplish. They focus on what you call major life events that require periodic reevaluation. Major life events like what? How do you want to retire? How many children do you want to have? Where do you want to live? What type of building? These are long-term goals. And so they are very, very important. Okay. Let me quickly go on. Now, let me explain some of the examples. When you take short-term goal, like I said earlier, the time span for a short-term goal is maximum 1 year. So for somebody, you can say that within the next 1 year, come September 2026, I want to have as a minimum in my savings account an amount of 1,500 for a new smartphone, or maybe for something. So you're looking at 1 year. So your time bound is 1 year. Once you're able to set this goal for yourself, what are you going to do between now and then that 1 year period that's ahead of us? It's a short-term goal. Another person's short-term goal will be to build an emergency fund or a savings account of 3,000 to cover unexpected expenses. That can be a short-term goal. A short-term goal. Somebody's short-term goal can be to pay off a specific mobile money loan. Some of you, I believe you are owing MTN Momo and you are throwing away your SIM card. It is wrong. Very soon, we will all be forced to go for credit score. And that credit score will then be used to assess whether we can borrow or not. So before you borrow, you'll be tasked to present your credit score. And it is based on your credit score and how you have managed your credit over time that you can assess your next credit. So those of you who think you are being smart, you go for this SIM card, you borrow, then you throw it away. You go for this SIM card, you borrow, you throw it away. What you are throwing away is your right to borrow going forward. If I'm you, after here, I will try as much as possible to go and pay or put in place measures to pay all the loans that I've taken so that I can have a clean credit record. So that when I need money, I can have access to it. Somebody's goal can be toward short-term goal will be to clear all his mobile money loan balance. Somebody's short-term goal will be to start a small side hustle. Sell online, go into baking, or start doing something, or to earn your first 800. These are all within a band of 1 year. So you can say the goal, whether it is short-term or long-term, is then defined by the time period that you set for yourself. Somebody's goal will be that for the next 3 months, I want to understand how my expenses are like. So everything that he or she spent, he writes it down or she writes it down. And she tries as much as possible. So in the next 3 months, if she's able to do it every week, in the next 3 months, she has a fair idea of the items that she spends on, how she gets her money, so that going forward, she will know how to manage her budget. These are examples of what? Short-term financial goals. And we need to understand it. Then we can talk about long-term. This can be 5 years or more. You want to save or invest money for your master's degree, or to go back to school, or to pursue a professional program. You are investing towards that. It becomes what? A long-term goal. You want to buy your first car or land. It's a long-term financial goal. You want to start and grow a sustainable business. Entrepreneurs, what you call entrepreneurship. It is a long-term goal. You want to build an investment portfolio, stocks, mutual funds. It becomes a long-term goal. You want to become completely debt-free, while you have paid all your what? Indebtedness. You have cleared your student loan balance. And for those of you who are owing student loan, please, when you land your first job, make arrangements to start servicing your student loan. It's very, very important. You don't want to be having a life with student loan hanging on neck. It doesn't speak well of you. Also, to be in a position to support your family financially can be a goal. Can be a goal. And then finally, to retire, to plan for your retirement and estate planning is also a goal that you can set for yourself. It's unfortunate my time is up. I've been prompted that my time is up. I will not be able to look at financial freedom, but I guess what we'll do is that I'll share the slide with Ben, and then maybe Ben will share the slide with you. We can't look at financial freedom because of time. I've been prompted, so I'll just have to end it here. If there's any question, I'm sorry, you can bring it up, and I'll do well to explain the questions. So you had in mind what financial freedom is, why does it matter for you, and then practical ways to start your journey. Okay, guys, any question, comment, or contribution? Sorry about that. I was not able to, but okay, it's okay. Okay. If we don't have any question, then
Well,
I guess
I think I was talking for you, and this has been very, very inspiring. And if we are supposed to ask questions, I'm telling you, we are getting like 70 questions today.
okay.
We are not leaving. So what I'm going to do is that we'll pick just 5 questions. Yes, but it shouldn't be a Jesus question. Please and ladies and gentlemen, just give us a straightforward question, okay, so that we can move with speed. Thank you very much. I saw one hand up. Kindly put your hand up if you want to ask a question. Yes, Mr. Peter Nyakun, please, you have the floor. You can unmute yourself and then it's okay. We have to see your face if you don't mind.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Please, my question is briefly, I just want to know, can a student set a financial goal? Okay, not some students can do it, but some students are limited to what they spend, like the money they receive, they use to buy food and stuff. So can a student set financial goals? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you can. Thank you very much. You can set. I mean, you should be able to set. You see, when I was talking about the goals, I was classifying the goals into short term, medium term, and a long term. And then one of them was that what you want to save. So that can be your goal. So as a student, you receive money from your guardians, your parents, etc. Why don't you have a savings account? You should be able to. That can be a goal. So that by the end of level 100 or level 200, you have minimum 1,000. That becomes what? A financial goal. And so every student should be able to get what? A financial goal. If you don't, I'm using financial goals because I'm a financial literacy advocate. But academically, you can set yourself a goal and say that what? For this particular semester, the worst grade I want to get end of semester should be a B. Should be a B. So that if it's not a B plus, minimum a B. It can be a goal that you work at. So either financial or non-financial, I believe strongly that each individual on this call should be able to have a goal. In fact, you must have, not should be, you must have a goal. You must have what? A goal. You can't just be living life by chance. Where do you want to work after school? Should be a goal. So that will help you to know what you are going to do. If you want to find yourself working in the bank, then you should be following the business press. When you are watching television, you don't just watch television and then you stop. When there's a business news coming, you keep the channel on and then you watch and you follow the numbers. You go and read the business press in Daily Graphic, in Ghanaian Times, and Business and Financial Times. You follow. If there are issues about banking, you follow. You may not be in the business school, but then you can position yourself. And if you go and register with CIB for their professional banking course, this is a goal, that will help you. So as a student, goal setting is not restricted to those who are working. In fact, you are better off if you start having goals now before you work than to start working before you have goals. Any question?
All right. I think I have Mr. Charles Olivant. Mr. Charles, have the floor.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, good afternoon. Yeah. I thank you for this opportunity. I just want to find out, in setting your goal, both long and short goals, for example, you want to make some savings to go to school, maybe in the next 3 or 4 years' time. Is it advisable that, God forbid, any eventuality can come up? Can't you touch the money that you have been saving to go to school? Can you touch it to solve an emergency? Is that a good advice? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, because of time, I was not able to go much in details, but there is some, you see, this emergency fund that we have here, this emergency fund umbrella. The emergency fund is what you are going to use as part of your financial plan setup. So if you have in mind to go back to school in 3 years' time, and you have scanned around, you are told that the school fees will be around 20,000. So between now and 3 years' time, you should have minimum 20,000. Now, your point is that between today and 3 years' time, there can be emergency. And you don't also want to compromise on the amount of money you are putting aside. So this is what is happening. In the question you have asked, there is goal setting, which is, I want to go to school to improve yourself and to personally develop yourself. Very good. 2, there must be investment. And that investment is what is going to grow your fund to help you to achieve the amount of money you need to pursue that education in 3 years' time. So that is investment. Between today and that 3 years again, there can be risk, an emergency. So what you need in addition to investment is savings. So that savings now comes in to absorb or to serve as a shock absorber in your process of achieving your financial goal. So when you set up your financial goal, especially the financial one that involves investment, you must always have what we call savings. And please, if you don't learn anything at all from me today, know that there's a difference between savings and investment. Savings is where you set money aside, let's say monthly or regularly, just for emergency, rainy day, emergency. So something happens and you need money immediately. You fall on your savings account. An investment account is also a financial account where you contribute regularly for a particular purpose. So for that particular investment account, you don't touch it. You don't touch it until that purpose is what? Achieved. If you have that investment account and then anytime you are hard pressed for money, you go and touch that investment, you'll be calling it investment. But then in terms of its nomenclature, it has become a savings account because anytime you need money, you go into that account. So you call it investment, but in actual fact, that has become a savings account. A savings account should be used only for day-to-day and emergency purpose. An investment account should be kept intact so that can be used for the purpose for which it has been set up. It's unfortunate we're not able to go through all those details. So my question is that have a savings account in addition to your investment account. And please don't touch the investment account. Use the savings account to build the financial resilience that you need in your quest toward achieve your financial goal or dream. Thank you. Any other question?
Okay, Mr. Daniel, please, you have the floor. You can ask the question.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. When I was listening to the presenter, he made mention of being focused and motivating yourself, reason why you should keep going when things get tougher. Now, after you have motivated yourself, you have to also track your progress. So now, if you, over a period of time, if you track your progress and it's nothing to be spoken about, can you quit that, or you have to just continue to motivate yourself as you go?
Thank you very much. At a point where you realize that you have not been able to achieve the set target, you have to be frank to yourself and ask yourself, why? And if you are frank enough, you realize that there are certain things that you should have done that you did not do, unless you don't want to be truthful to yourself. Now, what were those things? Were they things under your control or happenings that were not under your control? If they were happenings that were not under your control, we call it they were acts of God. Acts of God, nobody can do anything about it. But if they were things under your control, then you have to change your ways of doing things. As simple as that. If you are overspending, if you are attending parties, please, if you're attending 3, 4 parties, can't you cut it down to 1? You should be able to, in your quest to meet your goal. Because attending a party, really speaking, is not compulsory. But of course, you're also a social being. So once in a while, you may want to what? Attend a party. But if that is what is draining you down, if in your review of your effort, you realize that is what is draining you down, if impulse buying, anything you see you want to buy, then why don't you make a list of things you want to buy? So that writing them down now helps you to stick to it. 2, you may also, in your quest to get yourself back on track, maybe get an accountable person that you may want to account to. So that mentor or that accountable person now will serve as what we call a check on you. Somebody you can report to, because maybe personal leadership is a problem for you. So you want to have a visual leader, somebody you can account to. So that person now comes in to help you to deal with that, what I call that weakness on your part, where you cannot put yourself together to get things done. I'm not saying that you're irresponsible. No, even the fact that you are setting goals for yourself is one leg into responsible life. So do that. So first, let's be frank. Let's ask ourselves why. And I believe that we'll be able to know why. Some of them may be under our control. Some of them may not be. The ones that are not under our control, we just have to move on the next period and commit to ourselves. Because they are not under our control, chances are that they will not be happening very often. It is rather those that are under our control that will keep coming from time to time. And those ones, we have the ability to do away with them. Be frank, change your ways, and if you cannot help yourself, get a mentor or a reporting figure that you can report to help you. Who are these people? It can be your mom, it can be your dad, it can be your brother, it can be your, you don't know, what do I say? A figure, somebody that you can, maybe your pastor, maybe your lecturer, somebody that you can report to so that a person can help you. Somebody you trust, of course. Somebody you trust who can also help you. And of course, if saving the money by yourself is a problem, why don't you go to your bank and then tell your bank that every month, take this amount from my account and then pay into this account for me on a standing order. So that discipline can be put in place for you. Any other question, comment, or comments? I guess
okay. So I think at this point, I'll have to receive the slide and share with them so that
okay.
if they have any question, I have your email and everything they can. And most of them are University of Ghana students. So I know Dog's door is always open and access him at any point in time. He's very open. And I love him for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Benjamin, for the opportunity. And I'll share the slide with you, then you can pass it on. Thank you very much and all the best.
Okay, no, God bless you so much. God bless you so much.
Thank you
Very much. Thank you. So that was a presentation, an in-depth presentation in my videos. That was an in-depth presentation from Dr. Benjamin. Yes. Now, without much ado, I've taken a lot. In fact, I'm learning. And let me keep this one inside. He said something that I would like to quote him, even though he's not here. He said, "A cat that dreams to be a lion must lose appetite for rats." And we know that is kind of the favorite meat of the cat. So why should I lose appetite for my favorite meat? Something that I'm addicted to, something that I'm attached to. Means it requires discipline, determination. So if you want to be part of the NGO, if you want to make real impact, you have to denounce. Even the Bible talks about that. You have to denounce, put down the cross and come and follow me. So there are things that you have to quit. Inconsistencies, it wouldn't help you. So if you want to really fuel your passion, if you want to build yourself, to build somebody, then there are things that you have to be disciplined on, because we are preparing ourselves to go out there to make impact. If you yourself, you are not impacted, how then are you going to impact somebody? So please and please again, this is an insightful orientation, and you have to be keen, you have to be deliberate about it, and jot things down and practice them. So these are strategic ideas. So please and please again, don't just come and listen and go and do other stuff. No, we are building. You don't put foundation and then you go and sit somewhere, you come back, you come and do one block, one day. No. We are building. So please and please again, avail yourself to be built. Thank you very much.